We got some breaking news for you Vikings fans as tight end Josh Oliver just got a 3-year extension from the Minnesota Vikings. Adam Schefter tweeting this out. Vikings signed tight end Josh Oliver to a 3-year extension for $23.25 million with a max value of $27.5 million, including $11.9 million in new guarantees and $19.9 million in total guarantees. So shout out to Josh Oliver. I think he completely deserves this contract extension. One of the best run blocking tight ends in the National Football League, honestly, if not the best run blocking tight end. And, the Vikings made it clear this offseason. We're going to be a more physical football team. We're going to lean more into the run game, and Josh Oliver is just that. So shout out to Oliver for getting that money. Totally deserved. What does this mean for TJ Hawkinson's future? Don't want to speculate too much, but seriously, credit to Josh Oliver. Deserves every cent of this contract extension. So let's dive into today's show. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman. Coming up on today's show, did the Vikings just get a gift from the Cincinnati Bengals as they officially have released coverage linebacker Germaine Pratt yesterday? So it doesn't make sense for Minnesota to sign him. We'll break it down on today's show. And then also, I do want to go on a little rant about what Colin Cowherd and John Middlecoff had to say about J.J. McCarthy. But the big news yesterday coming in from Pelissero saying the Bengals are releasing veteran linebacker Germaine Pratt. Pratt ranked in the top 10 in the NFL last season in tackles and was a team captain. Now he hits the open market. Now, if you guys remember when the Bengals defense was going back and forth with Kansas City Chiefs offense, and they were actually doing a number on that group, one of the best offenses in the league at the time. A big reason for that was how elite Germaine Pratt was in coverage. He is a leader of that defense, and he brings a sense of swagger to that side of the field. So we'll break down what I think here in a second, but also Minicamp starts today for the Minnesota Vikings, so we will talk about some of the top storylines to watch. I am so excited for this. Finally, some real football back in our lives here as we're all sickos in the month of June just fiending for some Vikings content. So we'll finally get it. But if you guys are excited for Minicamp, go down there and hit that thumbs up icon. I put today's goal as 500 likes, so if you guys could, smash that thumbs up button. And if you guys are just excited to get our first J.J. McCarthy to Justin Jefferson clip at Minicamp, I'll tell you what, I can't wait. So if you guys are in the same boat, go down there, hit that thumbs up icon. All right, should the Minnesota Vikings sign Germaine Pratt? Now, the Vikings linebacker core, I actually think it's pretty solid. Probably just, if I had to give it a letter grade, probably just give it like a B, maybe a B plus group. But they definitely don't have a lot of depth in terms of having a coverage linebacker. Now, I do think they have decent depth overall, but having that true coverage guy, I don't necessarily think they have that. And, Pratt, throughout his career, he's been one of the better coverage linebackers in the National Football League. And specifically that 2022 season, when that Bengals defense was playing some of their best ball, he had a 90-plus coverage grade, 80.6 overall grade. He was fantastic. And, this linebacker group, obviously you got Ivan Pace being that, just bowling ball at the linebacker spot where it's just like, hey, see ball, go get ball. It's his mentality. But you got the leader, you got the captain in Blake Cashman. But behind those two, like Kobe King, he's just another Ivan Pace Jr., Brian Asamoah, he's just a special teams guy. And I will say the Vikings do have, decent depth at linebacker, but they could definitely use more. Now, I'll see how much Eric Wilson has left in the tank. I think he'll be just a rotational guy. But if you just want to add more depth there, I think Germaine Pratt is definitely an interesting option. And, I love the tandem of Pace and Blake Cashman. Both these guys are, I think they just complement each other games perfectly. But if you want to have a backup linebacker group where it's like Kobe King, Germaine Pratt, Eric Wilson, just in case either of these two have to miss time, which they did last season. So I would like adding more depth there. But both these guys are fantastic. I don't think this is a situation where Pratt would come in and be a day one starter. But on a very cheap 1-year deal, I would sign Germaine Pratt. I think he would add pretty good depth, and the Vikings are in a spot where I wouldn't say Pratt would be an aggressive move, but if the Vikings were, like I was saying, if they're a bottom feeder of the NFL, if they're the Saints, Browns, one of these poor teams, I don't really think they would have any interest in bringing them in, but they're trying to win a Super Bowl this season, and injuries are definitely going to play a factor. Let's just say Pace or Cashman has to miss time. It would be awesome just be able to plug in Germaine Pratt, Kobe King, Eric Wilson. You would add more depth there. So I'm in on it, but it'll probably have to be for a 1-year, $3, $4, $5 million deal. But you guys make the call for me. Would you sign Germaine Pratt? Give me an S for sign. Give me a P for pass. You guys let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. I'm doing it, but it would obviously have to be on a 1 year, very, very cheap deal. But you guys let me know. Would you sign Germaine Pratt? Now, I kind of want to rant here real quick. I was enjoying my night last night, having a good time. I was watching, some Dexter on Netflix. I was just enjoying myself. And, I saw Colin Cowherd, John Middlecoff. They put out a little podcast talking about the Minnesota Vikings, talking about this guy right here, J.J. McCarthy. And it was just all negative. Like, there was not one positive thing they had to say about number 9. It was all, what if he doesn't work out? Will the Vikings regret letting Sam Darnold walk? Will they regret letting Daniel Jones walk out the door? And my biggest kind of gripe with all this is, like, people are treating JJ like he is a make-a-wish kid who is like a 6th-round quarterback, and the Vikings are just forced to start him. Like, this guy was drafted in the top 10. He was handpicked by Kevin O'Connell, one of the smartest minds in terms of evaluating quarterbacks in the NFL. And I think it's so funny. Anytime anybody talks about JJ, it's always the what if in terms of the negative. What if he is a bust? What if he doesn't replicate what Darnold did last season? What if I turn that on you? What if JJ is a top 5 quarterback from day one? What if JJ's better than Jaden Daniels? What if he is by far the best quarterback in that class? What if he is the best quarterback in the entire NFC? Then what are we talking about with the Minnesota Vikings? Because even those two, they agree. They have a top 3 roster in the NFC. It all comes down to the quarterback position, and I just think these guys are almost setting themselves up to look probably dumb in a couple of months when J.J. McCarthy does end up working out and he does end up being one of the better quarterbacks in the league. I fully believe it, and that's also a big reason why I think this Vikings team is going to be so successful, because you have a great coaching staff. I think you have a damn Ferrari sitting in the garage right now in J.J. McCarthy. So I just don't get just them being so skeptical of him. I understand he didn't play a snap last season, but it's almost like they're viewing that as like, oh, he's got no chance to be good. There's just no way J.J. McCarthy ends up working out. I promise you he will. He is going to be a stud, and I don't know. We'll probably do a full show breaking down their quotes here in the near future. But let's talk about Minicamp coming up here in a little bit. It does get underway today, and I'm super excited. So I just want to go over 5 storylines that I'm going to be watching at Minnesota Vikings Minicamp. But before we do so, if you guys want to get a Vikings hoodie today, hit that link, chatsports.com/Vikings hoodie. I have this link for you guys in the comments and description of today's show. They're up to 50% off right now. They got a ton of great different options. All of these are super, super comfortable. So if you guys want to take advantage of this deal, chatsports.com/Vikings hoodie. Get one of these awesome hoodies today. They're up to 50% off. All right, so the number one storyline I'm going to be watching here has to do with the running back position. I was saying yesterday on the show, I'm more excited to see how the Vikings running backs and just their run game will look next season, even more than J.J. McCarthy. So I'm curious at minicamp, like, I'm assuming it's going to be Aaron Jones getting a lot of these RB1 reps, but I also think it's on the table. What if Jordan Mason, he's impressing that much that he's just from day one getting majority of these reps with the first team offense? Now, again, I do think it's going to be more of a 50-50 split. I also do have a prediction that at the tail half of the season that Jordan Mason will be the true RB1 in this offense, and Aaron Jones will be more of that scat back. But I'm just curious to see how it's going to play out from day one of minicamp. And also, Dallas Turner. How are the Vikes going to use him? Because I do think we'll get some insight here at minicamp. Like, where is he lining up? Like, could we see Van Ginkel in a little bit of a different role to get Dallas Turner out there on the football field more? I'm just curious to see how Flores is going to, how he's going to make an effort to get Dallas Turner out there on the football field more. And also the wide receiver 3 battle. That's going to be very, very intriguing. I do think Jalen Naylor will get the nod, at least with just getting the first team reps in that spot. But man, what if Ty Felton pops? What if Rondell Moore, a guy we really haven't talked about, really haven't heard a lot, what if he ends up impressing the coaches? Like, even though I do think 90% likely week 1 against the Chicago Bears will be Jalen Naylor playing that wide receiver 3 position, but you truly never know. Like, the Vikings clearly love Ty Felton. They only had 4 draft picks heading into the draft, and they used their second best one on a wide receiver. It either means they don't love Jalen Naylor as much as us Vikings fans think, but it also could just mean they love Ty Felton. They view he could be, elite wide receiver 3 here in the NFL. But also, I'm probably going to, again, do a full show on this guy, Tyron Ingram-Dawkins. I think he could be one of the hidden gems of this draft. I think he has a really good chance to just get rotational reps this year with the Vikings. I think it's going to be him, Jalen Redmond battling out there because obviously Hargrave, Allen Phillips, they'll be the 3 down linemen for the Vikes. But in terms of that backup defensive line, like Ingram Dawkins and Jalen Redmond, those are 2 studs I had behind, 2 great veterans there. So we'll see how much he gets out there. And then finally, just JJ the JJ. I am fiending to get those clips of JJ McCarthy throwing a touchdown to Justin Jefferson. We should get them on day 1. Also, I'll be tweeting them out, so if you guys want to follow me over there, that's a handle at Pat Sieps. But I can't wait for minicamp, man. I do appreciate this time of the offseason. Or yes, it is very slow in the NFL world, but you start to kind of get just a feel and a vibe of how your favorite football team is going to look. So I can't wait for it. And hey, if you guys made it to the end of today's show, hit me with a skull down below in the comment section. I appreciate all of you guys for watching. It's going to be an awesome season. It's going to be a long summer, but I can't wait, man. And also hit that subscribe button on your way out if you guys have not already. Appreciate all of you guys for watching today's show. See you all next time. As always, Skull Vikes.